Hassan. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a really fascinating look into something often talked about, but rarely really quantified professional coaching.
Yeah, it's a big topic.
We've pulled together some detailed research, global market comparisons, and specifically source material looking at a program called Victory with Ash, or VWA.
Right.
And we're not just defining coaching here, we're really trying to dissect the huge financial claims tied to this kind of high-level development.
And our mission, really, for you listening, is to make these big numbers feel real.
Yeah, tangible.
Exactly. We're looking at this claim, this figure of 20,000 euros per person in benefits. And we want to translate that kind of abstract value into actual time and money.
Like real-world comparison.
Yeah, real-world stuff that shows the sheer scale of investment in personal and professional growth that these sources are reporting on.
Okay, let's unpack this right away then. Let's set the foundation.
Yeah.
What exactly are we talking about with professional coaching? Because honestly, it gets mixed up with mentoring or just plain training a lot.
That's true. The definition we found, the one that seems most precise from the research, is that coaching is a very goal-oriented process.
Goal-oriented, okay?
Yeah, and it's designed specifically to tap into and develop a person's, their inherent strengths, their existing skills,
Yeah.
and also their untapped potential.
That focus on inherent potential,
Hmm.
that seems key, doesn't it?
It really is. It immediately clarifies the coach's role. See, a mentor might say, here's what I did.
Right, follow my path.
Exactly. But a coach, they don't give you a ready-made checklist. They don't just hand over the solutions to your challenges, whether personal or professional.
So what do they do?
Well, their real value lies in helping you find your own solutions. They're like a catalyst,
Yeah.
for self-discovery and then focused action.
Okay, so less handing you the map, more teaching you how to read the stars, maybe, so you can chart your own course no matter the weather.
That's a great analogy. And the core outcomes, the things this process actually builds, according to the data we looked at, are things like self-reflection, taking direct responsibility for where you're headed,
Okay.
and ultimately empowerment. And this isn't just soft, fuzzy stuff. This is about building real professional resilience,
Right.
giving people the mental tools to handle complexity.
Right, the increasing complexity we all face.
Yeah.
And we noticed a pattern in the research. While the specific methods might vary quite a bit from coach to coach,
Sure.
different styles.
The outcome, which is measurable personal growth towards clear, often challenging goals, that stays pretty consistent.
Okay, so that nails down the what pretty well. Now let's talk about where this happens, because it feels like it's moved beyond just, tech startups or something.
Oh, definitely.
We looked at the data on global usage. Where is this model really being applied, especially in those sort of high-stakes environments?
The research really highlighted how integrated it is globally now. It's
Yeah.
absolutely standard practice in big financial institutions, banks,
Okay.
across multinational companies, management consulting firms. That's almost a given.
Right.
But what's really interesting is how common it is now in the public sector. Government bodies, utilities, they're spending serious money on coaching.
Huh. The public sector. Why
Yeah.
there? That feels a bit different from the usual corporate performance push.
Well, if you think about the bigger picture, it kind of makes sense. The public sector faces huge pressure, right? Policy changes, economic shifts, new tech.
Yeah, constant change.
But they often don't have the same, maybe, agility as smaller private firms. So coaching gets used to quickly build up leadership capacity, make the organization more resilient, help leaders actually implement change faster.
Ah, okay. So it's about adaptability there, too.
Exactly. And then outside of business, obviously, you've got specialized coaching in health, top-level sports, acting, performance arts, basically anywhere tiny improvements can lead to massive results.
So it's really embedded in almost every area of high performance. And the benefit, like you said, it's not just for the person getting coached.
Right.
It ripples out, improves the whole team or organization they're part of, which I think leads us perfectly into the two main types of coaching we need to understand before we hit the numbers.
Yeah, the data we looked at draws a really clear line between these two. First up is personal coaching.
Okay. This is focused inward. It's about optimizing the individual's, let's say, internal workings, communication style, emotional intelligence, developing their mindset, general self-improvement. It's really about being a better, more capable person.
Got it.
Inward focus. And the second top.
The second is leadership or executive coaching. Now, this is much more outward-facing,
Okay. Performance driven.
very much so. This is high-stakes stuff, focused on maximizing management effectiveness, business strategy, executive presence, hitting those success metrics. The goal here isn't just a better person, but like an optimized leader driving a complex organization, often focused on revenue or major outcomes.
And that difference in focus, that's going to be critical for understanding the price tags, right?
Absolutely critical context.
Okay, let's unpack this. This is where the numbers, they stop being theoretical and start feeling pretty real. Give everyone listening a fair picture across different places. Our research crunched numbers from 9 countries: Germany, the US, Singapore, UK, Australia, UAE, India, Bangladesh, Egypt.
Quite a range.
Yeah, and converted everything into euros and US dollars for a level comparison.
So maybe we start with the detailed example the source gives for Germany. It works well as a kind of baseline for a typical developed economy.
Sounds good. So the average salary cited for a worker there is 2,500 euro a month.
Okay, 2,500 gross or net. We should probably assume net for living expenses.
Good point. Let's assume that's roughly take home. Now you subtract average living costs, rent, food, insurance, getting around.
The usual stuff.
And that eats up about 2,250 euros each month, according to the figures provided.
Okay, so that leaves, what, 250 euros a month for everything else?
Right.
Savings, investment, development.
Exactly. Just 250 euro a month left over. That's the maximum available pot we need to keep firmly in mind as we look at these coaching costs.
Right. So let's see how quickly that 250 euro gets used up. First, personal coaching.
Okay.
The cost per hour, the sources say, ranges from maybe 80 euro for newer coaches up to 250 euros an hour for more established ones.
Right. Quite a spread even there.
Yeah. But a typical kind of standard 3-month personal coaching program, the research averages that out at about 1,900 euros.
1,900 euros. Okay.
And there's the first sort of sticker shock moment, right?
Yeah.
If you're saving 250 euros a month.
You need to save for, what is that, almost 8 months?
Yeah, the calculation puts it at 8 to 10 months.
Yeah.
Nearly a whole year of really disciplined saving.
Right.
Just to afford that basic 3-month personal development course.
Wow. That really is a massive commitment just for self-improvement.
It absolutely is. And remember, that's just the personal side.
Right. Here's where it gets really interesting and where the money involved just scales up dramatically.
Exponentially, yeah. Now we look at leadership or executive coaching.
Okay. The research makes it crystal clear. This market operates on a totally different level. Programs priced between 10,000 and 30,000, 10 to 30,000.
Yeah. And the average cost cited just for a 3-month executive program in that high-end bracket is a pretty staggering 18,000 euros.
Hold on. 18,000 euros. We need to pause there. An average person saves for almost a year for personal coaching at 9,000 euros. Why is the executive coaching average nearly 10 times higher? What's driving that 18,000 figure?
Well, it really reflects the specialized expertise involved and, I guess, the scale of potential impact. Meaning a coach at that level isn't just fine-tuning someone's communication skills. They're often working on optimizing whole systems, leadership teams, strategy for multi-million euro businesses.
The stakes are much higher for the organization.
Exactly. The sources suggest these coaches are often global specialists. Their advice is perceived as having a potentially massive return on investment for the company paying the bill.
Okay, so if the coaching helps avoid a huge costly mistake or unlocks major new revenue, 18,000 starts to look like a strategic investment for the company.
Precisely. High risk, potentially high reward for the organization. But, and this is the crucial part, if we go back to our average worker saving $250 a month.
Yeah, that 18,000 price tag, oh boy. That translates to saving for, what, 6 to 8 years?
Yeah, 6 to 8 years, just to afford that single 3-month executive development program.
That completely changes the context of who this kind of development is actually available to, doesn't it?
It really does. It throws up a huge question about accessibility. The data implies this level of coaching is almost exclusively funded by big corporations, banks, or maybe very successful entrepreneurs. It's an enormous financial barrier for an average individual wanting to boost their own leadership skills without that kind of backing.
That leads us perfectly to the synthesis bit in the research, where they outline the total combined investment needed if you, as an ambitious person, wanted both types, the foundational personal coaching and that top-tier executive coaching.
Right. So if we just add those averages, we talked about the 1,900 for personal, the 18,000 for executive.
Roughly.
The sources put that total market investment value at about 20,000 euros.
20,000 euros. And just to make that really land, the research notes that 20,000 euro. That's basically the price of a brand new, decent mid-range car in Germany.
Wow. Okay.
And in terms of time, for our average earner saving $250 a month, That complete package represents nearly 9 years of dedicated saving.
9 years. That context, the time, the financial sacrifice, it's absolutely crucial as we transition to the claims being made about this Victory with ASH program.
Right, because the research reports that every single participant in VWA is supposedly receiving both of these high-level coaching streams.
Yeah, the personal development and the executive leadership training. And the source emphasizes these are provided by professional, global-level coaches.
And the kicker, the main financial point, is that this claimed €20,000 package, it's allegedly being provided at no cost to the individuals involved. The source material states it very directly. ASH is paying for everyone, covering what they assert is the full market value. Now, we should probably be clear here. This 20,000 figure is the claimed value, right? It's based on comparing it to those high-end market averages we just discussed.
Exactly. It assumes the training provided genuinely matches that top-tier quality and depth. The specific claim cited, attributed to Krishna, is that ASH Mufera is reportedly investing about €20,000 per person.
That is just a massive number per head. If you take the participant base mentioned in the source material, around 5,000 people.
Yeah.
You multiply that 20,000 per person, the total claimed value being invested balloons to 100 million.
It's a huge figure, no doubt about it, for personal development programs.
So based purely on the source material itself, what's the takeaway? How was the coaching described?
Well, it's definitely described in very positive, elevated terms. Words like exclusive and high quality are used, positioning it clearly above average or basic coaching.
Okay.
And the emotional tone from the participant, feedback analyzed in the source. It's very grateful, positive, inspiring even. There's a strong emphasis on participants feeling they're saving not just money, but years of life by getting this development now.
So what does this all mean then? What's the core message the research is trying to get across?
I think the main point the source wants to drive home is for you, the listener, to really understand the real worth, the massive equivalent in money and time of the education, the growth, the leadership skills, the personal transformation that's being offered through this program.
And they encourage people to check the website, right? victorywithash.com to see upcoming topics, tying that big financial claim to an ongoing practical program.
Yeah, exactly. And the source kind of wraps up with this message, that based on receiving all this high-value growth and knowledge, the participants feel like, quote, we all have already won. Already won. Yeah. So if this investment in personal and executive skills is truly worth €20,000 came, if it saves someone 9 years of trying to afford it, then the biggest challenge left isn't just getting the knowledge.
Is using it.
It's ensuring there's a real, tangible return on that massive claimed investment. Which leads us perfectly to our final provocative thought from this deep dive. Given that the sources frame this knowledge as being worth €20,000 in nearly a decade of saved time, the real question for you listening is, how do you justify that kind of value, whether it's paid for by someone else or you invest your own time and money? How do you make sure the return isn't just feeling good, but leads to actual demonstrable results?
Yeah. What's the tangible goal you're setting, professionally or personally? How will you prove the value of getting this level of coaching?
That feels like the real challenge, doesn't it? And maybe the true measure of whether you've won or not,
Okay.
applying the knowledge.